Welcome back to another episode of Good Times Ahead. I'm your co-host, Nick Eustace. This is my boy, Tanner Thompson. And today we have with us the former SEC Sixth Man of the Year, Final Four finalist with the South Carolina Gamecocks, and the first ever Canadian to win the Jordan Brand Classic MVP, Duane Notice. Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. We went to St. Mike's together back in the day, so we kind of watched you sort of start your career. I guess you were a little older by then, but I want to ask you about how you started in basketball, like what got you into it.
Honestly, I always tell this story, like Space Jam came out in 96. I'm a 94 baby, 2 years old. I didn't know how to do much, but I knew how to pop in that VHS tape in and out, rewind it, play it over and over. And that was kind of like my first introduction to basketball. And then, you know, when Vince Carter came and kind of did what he did with the Raptors, I kind of fell in love with it. And then Antonio Davis had this thing called Raptor Ball. And I played that when I was like 4, 5, 6 years old, whatever. It was like little house league type basketball. And it was cool. You know, you could double dribble, the nets were lower, and I was like, I loved it. And every weekend I loved playing that, and, you know, had the net outside the driveway, so started doing that. And from there, I just kept getting better. I was one of those guys that grew at a young age, so I've been this size, 6'3", since I was like 13.
That's nice, eh?
Yeah, it's always
That's a
been
big
good.
13,
Bully ball until you're
exactly. So I've always, you know, continued to play basketball. I didn't really know how far I could take it, how far I can go with it, but I saw the potential. It allowed me to travel a lot, make a lot of connections with people that are in high places, and network a lot. So I continued doing it and having love and passion for it, and I'm still doing it to this day. So
you started off in Scarborough, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So how do the leagues work?
Are you Vaughan?
I'm a Vaughan guy. I grew up in Toronto, moved around a little bit, but for the most part, it was even interesting. My grandma, before she moved to Florida, we lived in Brampton, but I was going to school in Vaughan. My mom always, for some reason, like had some type of foreshadowing that we were going to live in Vaughan. Or I don't know if it was an up-and-coming community. Actually, when I moved there, it was there was no Vaughan Mills. It was just Wonderland. There was like no Walmart. I don't think there was like no Costco, like none of that. So just see the progression now and see how it's like a little mini city. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I grew up in Vaughan.
Do you like hang out at Wonderland? That's like the spot to hang out.
It's crazy because before I moved to Vaughan, I feel like I went to Wonderland way more. And then when I moved there, like I could see Wonderland from my room. My dad lives there now, my sister. So like I could still, like when I go to that house, I could still see Wonderland from my driveway. Nice. And you could walk there, but I haven't been there forever.
That in the Colossus Theater, right? I feel like in high school, a lot of guys
I was
hung out
killing
the
that.
sus.
I was going to Colossus. Yeah, the sus. I was going to Colossus every weekend. One of the things about me, like anybody could tell you who's in my circle, I'm a big movie guy. Like, I'm a movie enthusiast. Like I studied film in school. I'm a big comic book guy. I got Batman tatted on me. Like I love Marvel, DC and stuff. So I was in Colossus every weekend. But I haven't been to Colossus since I found out what a VIP movie theater was. Yeah. Since then, I haven't gone back to regular movies.
Yeah, you have a little drink in there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The fish bowl gets served to you. Like it's nice.
Nice. Yeah. So how was basketball in Vaughan compared to other places? That's also a reason why you wanted to go there too.
It was cool. I made a lot of friends there. Like I always like joke around that I'm part Italian because the first team I played for, the first rep team I played for, St. David's.
Had a lot of Italians.
Yeah, a lot of Italians. You know, shout out more DeVito, Vince DeVito, and all them. So we had his grandma, his nonna was I called her Grandma Basketball. So I used to go to their house all the time because they would like pick me up from school and everything like that. So just developing those relationships when it was cool. Like her grandma always be like mange, like eat and stuff like that. So that's why I'm so big to this day. But it was fun. Like I developed all those relationships, and then from there, I thought I was going to go to Vaughan Secondary. I played with Andrew Wiggins too. He played with St. David's as well. And I thought I was going to play there. I had like some other friends that went to like Woodbridge College and some friends that went to Maple High. And my mom just, saw a future for me going to St. Mike's just to better my education and get the opportunity. And we took advantage of it.
I was going to ask, like, how'd you end up at St. Mike's?
Yeah, so initially.
The basketball team wasn't, like when you showed up, we weren't what we were years down the road. So how'd you end up there?
Well, the year before that, this guy from Scarborough that is one of my big brothers and, also one of the leaders in the space of basketball, especially in our community, Nikas Webster Chan.
Oh, yeah,
He went to St. Mike's the year before me. So
is he Keon's cousin? Or?
Yeah, he is Keon's cousin. So what happened was we had a relationship because when I was younger, playing with St. David's, speaking on that, we won so many times. Like, we won provincials a lot. I remember one year we went like undefeated. I forgot how many games we won, but we were cleaning up. So my mom was like, honestly, you need to get better, and you're putting a ceiling on yourself. You guys keep winning. So she moved me up. So I forgot what age I was, but probably like the 7th grade, 6th grade. Like, ever since then, I moved up and always played up ahead of grade. And that's where I met like the Nigases and guys like that. So we had a great relationship. And he went to St. Mike's. But honestly, I did not know what St. Mike's was at all. Like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know it was like an all-boys school. I didn't know it was uniform. Like, I didn't know like I'd be like the only black person there. Like, there's mad stuff that I was unfamiliar with. But I heard about how great of a school it was and educational-wise, how it'd be good for me because I'd be able to take these AP classes and courses and it would translate to college and all this stuff. So, and if, you know, I had a dentist at the time that went to St. Mike's. Like, everywhere I went, somebody went to St. Mike's. So it was like, you know, like I knew this lawyer who went to St. Mike's. His neighbor that I had went to St. Mike's. You see the double M on cars when you drive by. So I'm like, man, everybody's going there. And I ended up playing with Team Canada that summer. And then when I came back, I went to St. Mike's. I went the camping trip. And then,
oh my God.
Did you travel there?
Then when we went to school, that's when I'm like, yo, I did not expect this. Like, uniform, like.
It was different.
Legit,
it was different.
Like, it invoked a different type of discipline. And like you said, like, I was so, like, I'm not going to lie. My first year there, you could ask, Mr. John was there. I think Mr. Sheridan was there.
Zowner,
you could ask any of them. Like, I did not apply myself at all. Like, it sounds so bad, but I did not want to be there.
Too.
So because I didn't have any friends that was going, all my friends are going to, like I said, Wiggins and all them are going to like Vaughan Secondary School where they're going to win and all that. I had friends from St. David's that were going to Vaughan Secondary and stuff. So like when I went to St. Mike's, I was like, it's a hockey school. Like I didn't understand how I could get better at basketball. I mean, me and my mom actually like conflicted about that a lot because she was seeing like, you know, the future, my education, and all I was worried about was like an OSTA championship.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see the value in it. So the first year there, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't talk to anybody. Like I went there, kept my head down, didn't make no friends. Like in class, I was quiet, and then it wasn't till that summer, I think Mr. John and them always talked to me like, we know what you're doing. You don't want to be here. So like, but just apply yourself, make the most of it. And that's when I like kind of changed my attitude. And the next 3 years, I made the best of it.
Yeah. And then talk about like getting recruited by South Carolina, because I played college lacrosse. I went to Marquette, so I know you played against. We'll get into that later. But
I love Marquette. I wanted to go there too. I got recruited by them, but so I want to say like the first, I mean, you know, Canadian schools recruited me, but the first like American offer I think I got was Santa Clara, and it was kind of a cool connection because I started playing with Team Canada for a couple of years. And Steve Nash is involved with Team Canada. And so I kind of had a relationship with him where I could like text him because he would be.
With Steve Nash?
Yeah. He would come to our practices. At one point with Team Canada, he was like the general manager. Like he was heavily involved. But at the time, like he would have like these clinics. You go there, he'd come to practice and everything. Growing up watching a 2-time MVP, like, you know, you love Steve Nash, you know his story. So finding out he went to Santa Clara and that connection there, we actually spoke about the school for a bit, but I just didn't see like it was the best fit. And then from there, just kind of kept playing. But like I said, it was hard for me to get exposure because we're playing in CISA leagues and winning by 100. And I'm coming out in the second quarter because we don't want to, there's like a mercy rule and everything.
Yeah, the tapes were all shit back then too, right?
Exactly. There wasn't a lot of like highlight films.
That was like North Pole Hoops, right?
I think Flagrant Foul was the first one. Then it was North Pole Hoops. Craziest thing about North Pole Hoops, I was supposed to have a mixtape, and then like the hard drive got like messed up.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So you know, that's why I ended up playing with Bounce. I tried to get that exposure to play in the CYBO, I think EYBO. Sorry, the EYBO. And that's where I was playing with Wiggins again. It was like me, Wiggins, Xavier Rathen-Mays, Tyler Ennis.
You guys had a whole class.
We had a whole squad. Like,
because back then I loved Canadian basketball, like especially the high school basketball. So I'd watch and I'd follow.
Yeah.
And you see where so many guys ended up.
Top
Kevin Pango,
Kevin Pango, that's my
Mike
big bro too.
All those guys.
So all those guys, I try to play on that circuit so I can get more looks because obviously a lot of schools weren't coming to St. Mike's to watch me play. So my tenure at St. Mike's, I didn't really have like a lot of offers. I had a lot of interest. Like I remember getting a lot of letters from Arizona, Marquette.
Did you have interest from Syracuse?
I actually committed to Syracuse initially. like in the 9th grade or something like that. And it's the craziest thing that happened. I had this coach, like you guys probably look it up, but I won't say his name. But I had this coach, the head recruiter at the time that I was coaching me, was an assistant. He got in trouble with some like next type of charges.
You're like, no.
It was like some crazy charges that had to do with him and the students and stuff like that. So my mom was like, nah. Nope. So like I decommitted. But I really wanted to go there, like just growing up, looking up to Leo Routins, who went to St. Mike's as well. Do you know Dan Prendergast? No.
Okay, he was former coach at St. Mike's, but he coached Leo and those guys. So I
probably do. I'm probably just like forgetting, but Leo. And then I looked up to his son, Andy Routins, who's like my big bro too as well, who I don't think he went there, but he went to Syracuse. Leo went to Syracuse. So like, and Mello went to Syracuse. And Syracuse at the time was like, it's like right across the water. Your family could drive there. Like I just foresaw like a future of me going there.
It's a good selling point, right?
Exactly.
My brother's going there in September.
See?
Sold him right on the 3-hour drive.
Exactly.
It's only 3 hours?
3.5, yeah.
That's not bad at all, yeah.
So that ended up happening, but it wasn't until I went to prep school where I kind of got like all my offers. But even at St. Mike's, I was getting some offers from like some Ivy League schools. And
how did you end up making that decision to get down there?
I was like, there's no way.
What was like the biggest reason why you decided to go to
South Carolina? To be honest, it was because Frank Marion was the only coach that, like, some coaches came, especially after my post-grad year at St. Thomas More in Connecticut. A lot of coaches came to my school or watched my games or, came to Toronto to recruit me. But Frank Marion, at the time when he went to South Carolina, he did something that was super unfamiliar to me, and I respected it a lot. First thing was he went to my practice. He didn't go to any of my games. He went to my practice at St. Thomas More, which I thought was odd.
Yeah.
But it was just so he could see my habits. It was dope. And someone like me, you could ask anybody, like I'm a gym rat. So I go to the gym early, I leave late. I'm like real big on work ethic. So for him to see that, it was like a perfect marriage, because he was like, all right, this guy, because my coach was telling him, Jerry Quinn was telling him at the time that this is like what he does. It's not like he's just doing this because you showed up. I didn't even know he came to the practice. Like he just came and sat in the bleachers like low key. Cool. I didn't even know he was there. So like that was interesting, because usually they come to like the tournaments and they come for the games and all the hype. So I thought like, okay, that was cool. That's like different. And the second thing that he did that made me want to go there was he came to my house, and I have a big family. Like, so he came to my mom's house, he came to my dad. Like it was dope, and he shared a meal with us. And what he was telling me was he wasn't promising me anything, which a lot of coaches were promising me stuff. A lot of coaches at the time, like, St. Bonaventures and other schools were like, you're going to play this much. Yeah. You're going to have this role. You're going to do this. Realistically, he was like, honestly, like, if you work hard, this will happen. If not, this will happen. And I respected that, because there was like no totem pole I had to go against. He didn't care who was an All-American, McDonald's All-American. He didn't care about none of that. Like, he didn't care I was from Toronto. He's just like, yo, if you work hard, you're going to play.
Yeah, it makes that jump a little easier, right? Because you're also used to, like, he's probably a tough coach, right? Tough practices, you're probably used to that. And you come in, it
so like my first year there, it was 9 of us freshmen. So like
That's
I had to play.
Class.
Like, it's dope. So I had to play. If I went to a different school, I probably wouldn't have played. So it's kind of cool getting thrown into the fire and then kind of like figuring it out. And I feel like that's why we were so successful, because like we kept 4 of those. There's 4 of us my senior year. So
what was
we were
the
there from the
transition
beginning.
like?
It was crazy.
Big jump, eh?
Big jump.
Yeah.
The biggest transition was just to see how like big the sport and the culture was over there. Compared to here. No offense, you play at St. Mike's, it's like like 20 people in the stands. Like over there, it's like 14, 15,000 people watching your game. You play on the road, like we're chartering flights, like,
so sick.
Like you see how big the NCAA is. And growing up in Canada, now they show, the visibility, they show a lot of basketball on TV, but growing up, it was like a lot of hockey, a lot of baseball. So I didn't even watch we watched the tournament, but like I didn't even watch like non-conference games. I didn't watch conference games. I didn't really understand. Like my teammates used to make fun of me my freshman year, because they were like, how do you not know what this conference is and which teams belong to which conference? I'm like, yo, in Toronto they wasn't showing.
It's crazy how far like basketball has come in Toronto. Well, in Canada in general, the last few years, it's crazy.
I don't even know what it's like equated to. I don't know if it's because the Raptors won a championship, or if it's like our cities. I feel like our city's always been like, we always had a talent pool for basketball, and a lot of people that play basketball, they just haven't been put on that stage or given that platform. So now I don't know if it's because the Raptors won a championship, and now, like, for example, last month was the BioSteel.
We watched that.
It was on TSN. You know what I'm saying? Like when my brother did it, it was a couple of years ago or whatever, 2015. I don't know. When he did it, it was not on TV.
There was some
There wasn't a women's. Yeah, there wasn't even a women's side to it. So like just like you said, to see the progression, it's been amazing. Like I'm a fan for sure.
Well, it's always been in Toronto. It's been like the Leafs are the top dog, and now I look at it, I'm like, Raps are up
Right
there with them, if not ahead of them, in my opinion. I just think like you get a way wider variety of like people who are watching basketball, who are fans of Raptors. Leafs, it's the same.
Facts.
Like, I don't know. And you go to the Raptors parade, there was 2 million people, right?
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That parade was nuts. And
like,
I got the fortunate, I was fortunate to be on it.
Yeah.
Because one of my good friends, one of my best friends, Jordan Lloyd, he was a two-way with the Raptors. So it was like Chris Boucher and Jordan Lloyd were the two-ways at the time. So when I was playing with 905 my first year, we had that relationship. And it was just dope because I think they had a chance to win like game 5 or something like that. And it was in Toronto. And
I've never seen the city like that.
Yo, they had like, I know like all the clubs were setting up banners, getting ready, and then we lost, and then they won in Golden State.
Yeah.
And then Drake took them to like, I think he took them to Vegas. Yeah. And they went to Vegas for like a day or two. Then they came back, so I was like waiting, like, y'all, I know I'm about to party with these guys. Like, so then he came back, we went out, and then everybody was just lit, having a good time. The whole team was out. The Raptors were out. Everybody in management, like some of the management and some of the coaches were out. Yeah. And like my boy was just like, yo, can they come to the parade? And he was like, yeah, like they're part of the organization. Why not? I don't know if everybody was lit, but I was like, I'm going to the parade. There, I sobered up so quick. I was like, yo, I don't think they understand I'm coming. Yeah. And then went home like 4 a.m. Like got like 2 hours sleep, and we had to meet at down here at the OVO Center for like 8 a.m. or something like that. And then we had the T-shirts, the hats. Then you see everybody had their family and friends. And then I was on the last bus with Mark Gasol, and
he was on one that I remember that day.
Eric Moreland, I think Jeremy Lin was on our bus too, but that was our bus. We were like the last one, and it was so funny that you said that because Mark came in, and he was like, he had a flight later that day back to Spain. I'm not sure if he was playing or if like, but it was his wife and and his kids, and they had a flight. So he came on the bus like, I'm chilling, because the bus had cases of like, it had like Ace of Spades that they brought back, I guess, from Vegas. Yeah. They had like cases of like Bel Air, cases of like other champagne, other liquors and stuff, and beer and all that. And he came, like people were drinking in the morning. Like I don't really drink like that, but like people were drinking like, and he was like, I'm chilling. Like I'm calm, and then like just to see how wild he got, like I was like, this is hilarious. He's like catching beers, like cracking them open, like Stone Cold Steve Austin drinking them. We're like, yo, Mark, we thought you were chilling. We had to like hold him. Yeah, he was like falling off the bus. Like it was hilarious.
It's cool to like look around and tell people, right? Like you're probably like, holy fuck.
It was supposed to be like, I heard, because we started at like
that took for because
it was supposed to be like
early.
It was supposed to be like a 30-minute thing, and it ended up being like a 5.5-hour thing. And like you said, all the people were just stopping the bus. Like the motorcade couldn't even get through. And just to see us drive through Toronto and see all the love that people got, like, people were like hanging off to like the buildings. People were like climbing the street poles. It was like insane. I'm like, yo, the city really loves basketball, loves sports, and it's like dope to see what happens when like a winning culture happens and you see how everybody just comes together. You see like all the races, everybody getting along. It was just such a fun day, yo.
Yeah, for sure. I went down to the square for like 10 a.m.
Sick.
And we stood there for like 5 hours waiting for the bus, and just everyone was just partying for the first like few hours. And then after a while, you're like, shit, like I'm dehydrated. This is a long day.
No,
like,
it's hot.
But it was awesome when they finally arrived. Like I've never seen the city like that.
Yeah.
Do you know where like the Raptors go out? Like usually? Like,
I'm not gonna lie, like the teams that like I've been familiar with the past couple of years, they don't really go out like that.
Yeah, it's tough, right?
Probably why they're so focused, but
they've been like, good.
They've been good
this year too.
They don't really be out in the city like that.
Well, what are your thoughts on the team this year?
I mean, I like them. Nick Nurse is our coach for Team Canada now. I think he's like a savant when it comes to X's and O's in terms of like, especially defensive philosophies. I think he's cool with the offense as well. But I just love the way he's a player's coach. Like, I know like when I was in Australia with them a couple of years ago, Team Canada, and I think that was like his first time with us coaching us. Kevin Pangos and I, and we're shooting after practice, and we're shooting like, like 3-pointers a couple feet behind the line. Nick Nurse like comes to Pangos and I, and he's like, yo, can you guys, he like tells like some of us guards to like shoot near half, kind of like those shots that Fred VanVleet takes sometimes, like those deep tray balls. Yeah. So we like shoot it. Like we make it. He's like, oh, so you guys can shoot from there. He's like, why don't you guys shoot those shots in the game? And I was like, yo, I've never had a coach like empower you to do that. Like he's such a confidence builder, and I think that's like some that kind of reflects in the Raptors. It's like no matter if we have a superstar or not, we always feel like we can win. Those guys always feel like they can win because they work hard and they have that confidence and they're so interchangeable.
Confidence is key, right?
Yeah.
As soon as if you're like a bubble player, like whatever, and like you're not getting like a full chance with the ball or whatever, like the only way to get to that chance is by taking those risks and like shooting. So when your coach like, actually allows you to do it, as opposed to you thinking that he doesn't want you to do it.
Yeah.
That's when it like helps
when you're
so
afraid
much.
to make mistakes, it makes a huge difference.
Exactly.
Like when you have that leash or like a longer leash, it's like okay.
Trying not to fuck up is fucking up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, seriously though.
This is my first year in pro too, so I'm still trying to figure out how it works, kind of thing. So it's like that's one of my coaches says the same thing. Like,
what position you play?
Forward.
We
go like I don't play defense. I just play forward and then I run out. How should that be if you could just go shoot?
Man,
you probably like defense, all right?
I love defense. That's kind of like my calling card. Like, you know, I'm like a pit bull on the defensive end. Like I like to get into people. I learned from a young age, especially being on those bounce teams and other teams. It's like, if I'm not the most talented, cool, but I know that if I play defense, coach is going to keep me on the floor because I could stop my man. So that's kind of like been one of the calling cards for my career. And some of the things I hang my hat on is that I always bring that defensive intensity. I like to talk a lot. I don't like talk trash. I'm not really like a rah-rah type of guy. Like I don't really, but on defense, I talk a lot. And just I always want to guard the next best player. Like I don't care. Like I was in the G League, I guarded Taco Falls. He's like 7'5". Like my coach started me on Taco Falls. Like that's just because my heart on defense, and that's just like one thing that I feel like no one can take away from you. Is how intense you are when it comes to stopping, because defense wins championships. Like it's not a cliche. It's like an actual thing. Like, it's legit.
Defense and goalie in lacrosse.
Right.
Like, if you don't have that, you're fucked anyway. You score a million goals, but you can't stop them.
You can't stop it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, your cousin too. Is he? What's his process thing is gonna be? Like, I know you comment on all his videos. I think it's like pretty funny when you comment on his videos and stuff like that.
It's
like on Instagram
brother.
When you're like,
oh my brother,
when he's making his moves.
Marcus.
Oh yeah, Marcus, man, I'm so proud of him because like growing up, he went to St. Mike's too. Funny story is he started in the 7th grade. And like nobody knew we were brothers because we have different last names. We had the same mother. Different fathers.
I thought you were cousins, to be honest.
Nah.
I knew you guys were brothers.
We don't really look alike, I guess, sometimes, but yeah, that's like one of the things that we both agreed on. Like when he went to St. Mike's, like we did not talk to each other. Like I walked by him in the hallway, he walked by me. Like nobody knew we were brothers, and it's because he wanted his own identity.
Yeah,
and he did that.
If people knew he was your little brother,
he crafted his own identity. Like at St. Mike's, nobody knew for the longest, and like you said, if people knew because I had like such a great reputation in basketball with St. Mike's. Like he probably would have been overshadowed, that's Duane's little brother or whatever, but nobody knew that. So he was able to kind of carve his own niche, and then from there he went to Marvin with RJ Barrett, and he did great things. He actually tore his ACL, but then he bounced back, went to Pittsburgh, had a great year. That was dope as well because he was at Pittsburgh. I was my first year pro, and I had just came back from Poland. And so I went back to South Carolina to kind of like work out and like see some of my teammates that like were seniors at this point. And so he's playing in the ACC, so he's playing in like Clemson. So I got to go to that game. He played against North Carolina. I got to drive to that game, like, and I got to see him like score 20 against North Carolina. And just to see how far he's come, like I just remember us like battling in the driveway. Like I'm wearing my full Raptors Vince Carter set. He's wearing like his Allen Iverson set, and like I'm really beating him, like dunking on him, and like just pushing him, and like, but he would never back down. Like he never cried, never like went inside. Like he always came back again and again and again. And like to see his mentality now and how well he's doing, like I'm his biggest fan. Like I love watching him play. Like especially this past year at Texas, he went crazy. Went to the tournament. I was
at the tournament. He played really well.
I watched a few games. Like whenever you're on a story, you're all commenting on it. And like pull up. Like I was like, that's awesome.
So it's crazy because I'm a basketball fan. Like I'm a sports fan. Like
this is what I said to before this. I was like, I feel like you're a student of the game. Like you love basketball.
I love basketball, but like any sport, I love football. I love hockey. I wanted to ask y'all a question too about the damn, I just forgot the name of that move.
Oh, the Michigan.
Yeah. Well, shout out to the Michigan. But I love the game. I love like watching it. I love studying it. I love watching game film. Like I literally last night was watching Magic Johnson highlights like in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like I love watching old school basketball. I love watching the new game and how the skills develop. But yeah, I'm his biggest fan, man. Like I just want to see how far you can take it. Like that's your whole goal. You do something so you can like set a precedence, and then you want to see invest in the future, and like look what he's doing. Like it's amazing.
So I went to school with Marcus Howard. I kind of got to watch him go up a little bit. Yeah. So I kind of like follow his. We're kind of like friends a little bit. But like I feel like it's kind of a comparison to your brother because like, they're both like kind of smaller, like pit bulls, like shooters and stuff like that.
The
so
dog
like,
mentality.
Yeah. He made the show.
I played with his brother.
Yeah.
Jordan
you played
Howard.
in the 905, right? Yeah.
Played with Jordan Howard. I played against Marcus. Howard. That was our first game against Marquette.
Yeah, I remember watching that.
Yeah,
I was telling my boys, like, I know Duane, like, you went to my high school.
That was a crazy game too, man. That was a talented. He's so talented. They both could shoot. They like broke a record or something for like brothers in NCAA or something.
Bro, I think he has all-time records at Marquette for most points. But nasty.
He's
so I want to ask you, what he's a hard worker too, and so is your brother. So like, what's like the easiest way to think from breakthrough? Because I know Marcus had like a couple games where he had 40. Like, is that all it takes, just to show off well, or is it like other ways you can do it? He put up some
stats.
I mean, basketball is so political. I mean, I don't know how it is like in other sports. Probably the
same thing.
There's like so much to it. So it's like not just skills, not just. It's like a lot of things that have to go right. So like, for example, I want to say his junior year in Minnesota, he averaged 20 and like 5. I could never dream of averaging 20 in college, but he wasn't like high on any like draft boards, you know what I'm saying? So because they weren't winning enough, there's like a whole bunch of factors that contributed. That's why he went to Texas, so he can make the tournament and be in front of more eyes. But it's like he didn't average 20 and 5, he averaged like 11 and something, and it's like it's just so hard like to gauge. But I think he deserves to be in the NBA, and I believe he'll get there.
I've seen some comparisons too, so I think he could make it for sure.
Well, I was following him, and after he put up the 1 year at Minnesota, I was going through mock drafts or whatever, and I was like, why isn't his name up on anything? Like,
I don't get it.
Politics, bro.
It's politics. All about like intangibles. Like there could be someone who's not as good as basketball, but if he has like the craziest wingspan, they're gonna be like the potential. Like it's all about that kind of stuff. So
what was your favorite game
of his?
Of yours?
Mine?
Favorite game, favorite bucket?
Of mine.
Put you on the spot a little bit, sorry, but
like professionally?
Yeah. Or college.
I want to ask you about college after.
I feel like I had this game in Florida. I think we played like FIU or something like that. And my grandma came, because she's been living in Orlando since like 2000. So like she was able to come see me play, and like my aunt, my niece, my cousins, like a whole bunch of people were there. Yeah. And I like started off pretty bad, but then I ended up cooking, and I had like 20-something points. That was like one of my favorite games, because I was like my first, because my grandma really got to see me play in person, and she's a big basketball fan. She's the kind of person that would call me and be like, "Yo, you just see the LeBron trade?" Like I'm like, "Grandma, like what?" She's be watching like soap opera. Yeah, no, bro. My grandma has 2 iPads, one for me, one for my brother, and she'd be like just looking at all the articles and just reading stuff. Like she'd be telling me stuff before it happens. Like, your friend just got cut, and I'm just like, "What?
How do you know?"
Like, are you Woj? Like she'd be dropping Woj bombs on me. It's actually crazy. Like my grandma's tough when it comes to that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
But I mean, man, it has to be my dunk against Florida. And to punch in the Elite Eight, to punch our ticket to the Final Four. That was so like sick. One of the best things I did, because I hadn't dunked all year. I think I had dunked twice the season before that.
That must have felt so nice. I had
dunked once in practice that year. Like I had became such a shooter that my mentality going to the basket, I was just driving and kicking a lot. Like I would finish some layups and everything, but I was becoming like a great shooter at South Carolina. So it was always like this teasing thing that like I couldn't dunk. So like for me to dunk, like it was just great, like because it surprised the coach, it surprised everybody. And then also Florida Gators beat us twice that year in conference, so the fact that we got to beat them the third time, and it was when it mattered in the tournament, and then Madison Square Garden, right? So it's just like playing under the bright lights, like that probably was my favorite moment of all time.
Nice, bro. That's cool.
What was March Madness like? Because there's probably very few human beings who will experience something like that, especially going to a final. Like you guys, I was looking at it, you had a tough way to the Final Four.
Tell me about it, bro. Because we selection Sunday, the year before that, we had won like 25 plus games. Don't quote me, but I think it was like 27. We had set like a precedence for our school. Usually if you win that amount of games, you definitely go into the tournament.
Yep.
But they said our strength of schedule wasn't that tough. So
it's the worst, dude.
Right. So
and you look at some of the other teams, it's like, how do they make it?
It sucks that you can't like lose 2 games and you're out. It's like,
so basically we ended up having a selection Sunday, a whole big party on the T-shirts made, and we didn't get chosen. We ended up playing the NIT. I think we won 1 game and lost the second round. The next year we won less games, but like that in the non-conference we had beat Michigan by 20. We had beat Syracuse by like 20. Like we had beat all these like I guess high-ranked schools, so they're like your strength of schedule was better. And I think we only won like 22 or 23 games, whatever. But we ended up going to the tournament. Selection Sunday, like you said, it came up. And this time we didn't have a party. We just had like a little intimate thing with our team and kind of like our close fans or whatever, the family. And I just never forget, like, boom, Marquette. And I'm just like, we're all like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, if you win that game, you guys got Duke next. We're like, all right, cool. Like when I packed my bags, like I packed like just enough clothes just for like that, like just if we beat Marquette. Like, I didn't pack enough underwear and clothes for Duke. So I'm like, man, it's Duke, like Jason Tatum, you know, they had Grayson Allen, Luke Kennard, like. I had a Frank Jackson, like all four of those guys just named are in the NBA and they play. It's not like they're like bums. Like
well, Tatum had that bucket last night. That game was crazy.
Crazy game.
Crazy.
But so, like, just to knock off Duke, see Coach K, someone you watch on TV, like it's crazy. Like his aura.
That must have felt so nice. You did a handshake, right? Or
handshake, but I met him. It was one of those things where like I told him like, yo, I'm from Toronto and I like grew up watching you. I just want to like tell you how much I appreciate what you've done to the game and like just to hear him compliment me on my game because I think I had like 18 points that game or 17. So I played well against Duke and I was like, it was dope just to see him acknowledge me and then to play in front of, because I think we played in Greensville or Greensboro, one of the two. But it was like in South, we ended up playing, it was like a home game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like dope because all the fans were there. My mom, who like doesn't like to fly, she ended up coming to all the games.
That's awesome.
But I didn't really understand the magnitude of it. If I'm being completely transparent with y'all, like I didn't really, like when I was in it, it was like whatever. Especially like I said, being from Toronto, like I didn't really like understand like how serious it was.
March Madness is
until after. And the Final Four was so intense because they had like each team had their own hotel. So like we had a hotel, I think Oregon had a hotel, Gonzaga had a hotel, and I think North Carolina had a hotel that I think it was North Carolina. And so, you know, you walk into the hotel and it's like big like
you get
pictures
your
of
own
me
hotel.
and like
your
all that
hotel.
stuff. We have to go through the back through the kitchen because like fans found out where we were. Fans are traveling from all over. And like I said, when we lost that night, like our hotel was like a huge party and like just seeing all the like elder like people, like people who were like 80 and 90, like, oh my God, like I can finally die. Like people were like saying the craziest stuff. Like, like people were like, my mom, if she was alive, she would have loved it. I never thought like it was that deep. Like, and then we got our Final Four ring. So like, that's when I'm like, oh, this is a big deal. Like I didn't know how big it was.
Plus like once you start playing in front of big crowds, you start showing up to the arena and not even worrying about it.
Right.
So when you get into front of a bigger crowd, it's like, okay, well, you kind of forget. You just kind of want to play the game. You show up and, you know what I mean?
I've never really been the type of guy to notice anything like that anyways. Like I've always been
just
like
dialed in.
locked in.
Yeah.
Like I don't really mess with the crowd. Especially like playing in South Carolina, I've definitely, you go to like Ole Miss and Mississippi State, you hear some crazy stuff from fans, like, you know, some out of pocket things. So like I've always been conditioned to, and then growing up, you play against Scarborough Blues, anybody will tell you who's watching this, like that's when the moms is banging the pots in the sidelines and they like saying the craziest stuff to you. So like I've always been built for any atmosphere in terms of like the crowd. But like y'all said, like when I play, I don't really look into the crowd at all. Like my mom, my mom would be like, did you not see when you made that bucket? I said, I'm like, I don't look, like I don't really be looking into the crowd. Like I'm focused.
Do you remember every play? Like I have some friends who can literally like pick a game and pick a play and remember their goal.
I remember a lot of plays. Like I'm not, there's one thing that shout out to Vada Messiah, who's like one of the coaches that I initially started AU basketball with the Hoop Factory, but he was real big on me and my brother doing visual meditation. So like that was big for my game as well, to the point where before games, you know, I sit in the locker room or the night before when I get anxious and I can't sleep, I'm literally like processing every play in my head before it happens. Like, and when I mean every play, I mean like misses and makes too, because you're gonna miss shots in basketball, right? So like that's been like the biggest key to my game as well. Like I'll sit there and I'll go through every play from like warm up to how I'm gonna do warm ups to like jump ball and like how I'm gonna like call this play, how I'm gonna run this offense, how I'm gonna play defense, and like that's how I like remember every play as well.
Yeah.
I find too, like, sorry.
So would you say like the mental side of the game is a priority for you?
Definitely, more so now, especially after getting hurt. Like I've never been injured before. I've always, you know, sprained ankles, like I fractured my wrist, like stuff that I've all been able to play through. I've never had an injury take me out. So like when I ruptured my Achilles and I ruptured my calf like on the same leg at the same time, I was like, man, like this is crazy. Like what's going on? Like
that's tough mentally, man.
Mentally, I didn't know what to do, but like all the love that I had from family, friends, like fans, like it kept me going. And then my brother, him tearing his ACL at a young age at Montverde, like he was able to give me a lot of advice, which was kind of cool because he became the big brother in the situation. Just like, yo, this is how you deal with the rehab. This is what you're gonna deal with. So like that was cool as well. But yeah, that's when I had to really hone in on the mental side of things, because for me, like I love music, I love films, but like basketball is always my outlet. If I'm having a bad day, like a shitty day, like I'm gonna go hoop. Nothing matters. I could be having a bad class, like, but if I go to practice, I know I'm a hoop. Like, I know, like, I have something to look forward to. It's an escape. Girl problems, cool. I'm going to the gym tonight. I'm getting shots up 2 a.m. Like, it doesn't matter what this girl said to me. Like, doesn't matter. Like, anything. But then, now that I'm hurt, it was like, yo, all this stress building up, I can't even release it. So how can I do that? So, like, the Headspace, the Calm apps, like, all that stuff they try to introduce to you in the NBA, I feel like is real cool as well. And it allows you to focus on. I do a lot of reading. Like, I love to read. So, like, a lot of books I'd be reading, and then I feel like that like really helps me prepare for the next level and keep me like focused on what I need to do, because there's a lot of times where you wake up, or I wake up and just be like, man, like, I want to pack it in, yo. Like, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're talking about the concussions. Like, I couldn't even imagine. But like that, like that's the battles I have with myself too. Where it's
hit
like,
a low point mentally.
Am I going to be the same? Am I going to come back? How am I going to produce? Like
having that trigger in your mind to like get yourself over yourself. You know,
it's a
confident
lot
again. Yeah.
It's a
Were
lot.
you hesitant at all, like coming back on the court? About
I was definitely hesitant because I healed really fast. So I actually had like I had a re-rupture. Like I had slightly tore it again when I had got cleared to play again. So I healed like 7 months. I was like cleared 8 months to play again. Yeah. And
how happy were you to be cleared?
Super happy. Oh my God, super happy. And that's the problem. Like my work ethic. That's what like I learned too in this process is like can't work. Like I was like I had surgery. After surgery, I was in the gym the next day, like in my cast, on my scooter, like form shooting. I'm like doing other stuff, like like really like shooting off 1 foot. Like my trainer's like relax, like and I had to like, and then I wasn't listening. Like every day, I'm like working out, doing stuff, and obviously I'm protecting my foot, but like just like I should have just sat down and just relaxed and took a break. I didn't do that. I didn't decompose, and then I ended up getting hurt when I got cleared again. So like that was like another mental hurdle I had to jump over, and then but I learned a lot about myself. So I wouldn't trade it for the world, because it's like I felt adversity before, but never at that level. Yeah. So like to really face it head on, now I feel like anything that is thrown my way, I could kind of get through.
With it. Help your mind for the future too, right?
Exactly.
I wanted to ask you, like, as you jump the levels of basketball, like they make you play a lot faster because the defenses are bigger, faster, stronger. Yeah. How do you sort of like get yourself to calm down, and, like move slower in a way? To like make you know what I mean? Like a lot of guys panic and like start moving so fast and they can't make their shots. Or same as lacrosse, I guess, they can't make their shots. How do you slow it down? Yeah,
you get sped up a lot. Every level you advance in, but game film helps a lot. Like that's definitely helped me a lot. Like I'm a rigorous like game film guy. Like I have a guy named Ryan Schmidt who's like my coach for the CBL, but he was like really instrumental in my career with like, all right, like he would break the laptop out and he's clipping every single play like that I did, good, bad. Even if I didn't touch the ball, he's like, yo, you were supposed to run to the corner, bro. You ran to like right here. Just, like, you know what I'm saying?
Give yourself 2 more feet of space for sure.
Yeah, like so all that like made me really see the game a little differently. And then especially when he would compare, like one thing he did that was so dope that he would show me players that had similar body structures to me or like played similar positions or who my game kind of mimicked or like who elements I could take from. And that like did a lot for me too. I'm a visual learner. Yeah. So like,
who was that for you?
Who did he compare you to?
Like Kyle Lowry or like stuff like that. So guys who are bigger and they like bigger,
you
like
guys are
width-wise, thicker, like solid, we're stronger. So like we're not the quickest, but we're strong. So like how to play off 2 feet, how to use your pivots, how to like play smarter, play off contact instead of going 100 miles per hour. I'm not the most athletic. Like I'm a dunk on a breakaway, but I'm not gonna come down the lane and dunk on somebody. You know what I'm saying? So
you gotta find your angle.
Like a lot of stuff that he taught me, exactly finding my angles in different positions to be successful. Like that like is something that I carry throughout my career and my game as well. Like just how to just implement myself into other people's shoes. Like that's why when I watch basketball now, I'm like looking like, all right,
what can I do? You start to see 2 passes ahead, like you see like where it's gonna be.
Exactly. So that's my biggest like I think thing that I focused on to like help me slow down. But it's natural, yo. Like my freshman year, like I'll never forget against Florida Gators, they had like this Billy Donovan, who's coaching the Bulls now, was coaching. Yeah. And he had this trap that was crazy. And I'll never forget, I had like 9 turnovers in the first half, like against
What the fuck do I do?
And this is like the old Gators.
That's your freshman year too?
And they was like, I'm inbound the ball, the fans just like touching me. They had signs, go back to Canada, like maple syrup, like all this stuff. Like they had my mom's government name. Like, yo, how they know this? Like my sisters. So like,
that's ruthless.
Yeah, I was getting trapped. Like I'm like whatever, right? So, and Frank was like, I'm going to keep you in so you can set the record for the most amount of turnovers in the SEC. So, like, I had to deal with that, the fans, my own coach, like, all that. So, but it's natural. Like, I was sped up, and then I had to, like, calm down. I watched film after that. I realized, all right, this is my spot. It's like, play with pace. You play with pace, you're under control. Like, anything could happen. Don't let people speed you up. Like, I have the ball. Like, why would I let you dictate what I want to do? Play your game. Yeah. So, like,
balance and high-paced patience.
Exactly.
I feel like balance is huge in basketball.
That's why I be trying to do to people. I'm like, if I know if I can speed somebody up, they're gonna get out their element. They're gonna get out their zone. They're gonna take a shot they're not comfortable with, and I'm gonna be successful.
It's a chess match, right? So the more percentage you can lower it.
It's not checker, it's chess.
Who's the hardest player you've had to guard?
Ooh, great question. I've got a lot of buckets.
Who gave you the most buckets?
Give me the most buckets. I feel like this guy. He plays for. Who's he play for right now? He's in the NBA. I feel like he's on the Dallas Mavericks bench right now. But Theo Pinson. He's a bucket.
He gave you bucket.
Like when I play against him in the G League, nothing I was doing like I'm talking about I'm in his face and he's still hitting shots. And what made it worse is he don't talk trash. Like he's like such a cool guy.
Just looks at you.
So you can't even get
he's like a nice guy. Like he'd be like, man, I remember I wore what did I wear those games? I think I wore some 5s or something like that. Some Jordan 5s, some retros that game because they matched the jerseys that we were wearing. Oh man, I love those shoes, man. Like I'm like, bro, don't
he just hits a 3.
He just hit a 3 on me. Like
I fucking hate you right now.
Yeah, like he would do some tween hezzy score like off the midi, my hands in his face. He'd be like, man, that's great defense. But yo, shut up, bro.
Is there a lot of like a competition like that where if he scores on you, like you in your head, you're like, I gotta score next position?
Nah.
Or I gotta stop him next one.
It's definitely the stopping. I'll never let someone take me out of the game. If we're playing pickup, that's a different story. Like if you score on me, I'm gonna come down scoring you. But in a game, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna help my team win. So I'm gonna do whatever impacts winning. So I'm not gonna take the matters into my own hand unless I have like an advantage. But I'll never let my pride or ego get in the way because it's basketball. At the end of the day, you're gonna get scored on, especially at the G League or the NBA level. Like
you're playing against
top
guys.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like that. It's a debate that me and my homies have all the time because it's like, what is good defense? Because at the end of the day, Kyrie's still gonna get hit to his spot. He's still gonna get his shot off.
He was cooking last night. Oh
KD
my
is
God.
7 feet. He go like whatever you do, he misses because of him.
Pretty well last night on the last shot though.
Oh, Tatum, that play was
a
nice.
tough shot, bro. I don't know.
Marcus Smart had the
but they double team Kyrie. Like they sent Al Horford, so they, like you know what I'm saying. So like they had to put 2 on him, but. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could be a great defender, but at the end of the day, someone's still going to get their 30. And so my job is to make them take as many shots to get their 30 to help them be less efficient. So that's pretty much what it is.
Like, going up through the levels, because I know at, like, St. Mike's and in Canada, you were, like, you were getting buckets. You were dropping, like, 20-plus a game.
Yeah.
As you've gone to, like, the G League and just college, you've had to adapt, right? And, like, play a specific type of role. Like, what's that been like from going from like?
I've always been someone that's able to adjust. To what the team needs because I've been a coachable person.
That's huge.
When I was younger, I wasn't,
really,
and I learned at a young age that that's not the move. Like, you have to be selfless. You have to like strip yourself of all that ego. You got to be humble, like. Because 9 times out of 10, these coaches either they're coming from a place of where they've played the game at a high level or if they studied the game at a high level, so you don't know it all, especially at a young age. So I had like a couple of years like when I was playing Team Ontario where I probably was a little cocky and like they didn't really like, and I could get away with that because competition in basketball wasn't as good, so I could like get away with bad habits. But once you start playing some real dogs in the States, you understand, like, I got to listen to my coach. Like, he knows what he's talking about. Like, I can't just do what I want to do. I can't just go on YouTube, look at what AI was doing and think I could just do it. Like, that doesn't apply to me. So, like, as I got older, I realized, you got to, like, strip yourself of that ego. And then once I did that, I've been able to be coachable. And then in doing that, I realized the more coachable you are, the more you stay on the floor. Like, like I said, like, me playing on 905, like, there was games where I was the point guard and my job was to set everybody up. And there's games where I was a shooting guard and I was shooting and I was coming off screens and shooting. And there's games where I was playing the 4, I was 6'3", playing the 4. I'm hand off. I'm the first guy in stagger screens. And the reason why I was able to do that is because I studied the game and the coach trusts me in those situations. Some other people, or maybe me back in the day, who like, I'm not playing a 4, bro. I don't know how to set a screen. Like, I come off screens. Like,
stubborn.
But because like I studied the game and I practiced and I'm like, yo, if I don't do that, then I'm on the bench because they already have these lethal. That's what people don't understand too. Like in the NBA, the next level, whatever sport you're in, it's like, I was the guy at St. Mike's and I was the guy at this prep school and I was the guy at university. But you go to the pros, there's already a James Harden, there's already a LeBron James. Like, unless you're like obviously like the next whatever. Like, you're not coming in to change the franchise. So it's like, how can I affect winning by playing and being a star in my own role?
Yeah.
And if that's me being the best player that runs to the corner and be a decoy, then that's what I got to do. Like,
just finding your role.
At the end of the day, I know I could hoop. Like, anybody want to hoop right now, I'll give it. I'll give it buckets. You know what I'm saying? But like, if I'm playing on a specific team, my role might change. Team Canada, sometimes I got to be a scorer. Sometimes I got to be just a defender. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So when you know what role is yours and is established, and you could be a star in it, then you'll be really successful.
You kind of take those risks to like make those nasty plays when you can, right?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to do this. It happens organically.
Exactly. Organically.
Well, it's crazy to see. Like, even I think of like one of our close friends. He was always like a top guy, like a scorer in hockey.
Yeah.
And now his way of making it to the NHL was through like being a role player,
right?
Like playing defensively, playing shorthanded. Growing up, never would have done that. Yeah.
And he never would have thought that.
No, but it's funny. Crazy. He said the same thing. He's like, I got to the like AHL, and my coach was like, you need to learn how to do this, or you're never gonna get to the next level.
Right.
It's like me too. I always had the ball in my stick. I always was a guy, and then got to pro. Now I'm like setting picks now. Same
It humbles you.
Humbles you.
You're playing against the best players in the world.
That's like, okay, how do I become good at this now, so I can get back to a spot where
it's where you can do that. And when you're versatile and dynamic, you can do both. Then you know what I'm saying? Like, I was playing the 4 for some games, but I was also frying on offense because now I have six plus guys guarding me.
Yeah.
And I'm just taking them to the basket.
Yeah.
And I'm shooting over them. So it's like, if you get out of your ego and realize that you could still do like really what you want to do, if you just give in to what the coach wants you to do, then you could really like take it to the next level. So I think like that's dope as well. But it's cool how like everything's applicable to every sport. Like definitely, because like I'm not gonna lie, when I was at St. Mike's, I could not shoot. Like, I was not a shooter. Like, if you was to tell me, I don't know like what my stats are, but I know at like South Carolina, like I'm top 3 in like threes made all time and like all that kind of stuff. Like, if you were to say that to me in St. Mike's, I'd be like, no. Like, St. Mike's, I was going to the basket, dunking everything, like transition, layup. They was calling me like Baby Braun, and like I was slashing to the basket. Like, I was a good ball handler. I was always a good passer. I was always unselfish. But like a shooter, like I wasn't shooting step back threes like now. And to go to university and like he's a shooter, like it's crazy. Like you just said, like, but I had to really change my game because when I went to South Carolina, I was like, damn, I'm playing against Sandarius Thornwell, who's 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? He played for the Clippers and Pelicans in Orlando. He overseas right now. But you know what I'm saying? Playing against those kind of guys who are long, quick. He went to Oak Hill, so it's like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I can't get to the basket and dunk on him. I can't do all those things. So I have to find other ways to be successful. So what I do, I just stayed in the gym. Like, I fell in love with that gun. And I just stayed in the gym, and I ended up like changing my form a little bit and getting that repetition, and I became like a shooter. Like it actually freaks me out to this day because like you said,
would you be like, oh, I'm a shooter now?
Yeah, now I'm a shooter. It's crazy. Like my first year in the G, I think I shot 40%. Like again, like if like 10 years ago, never.
Yeah. You 5 years from now too, you might be like it might be the next evolution. You might be with the ball again. Like
exactly. You know, that's what the perfect point. You got to evolve. Like if you don't and you get complacent, and you get left behind. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when you evolve, you continue to grow.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's a cool story. And also like when you are like the shooter at the end, like you can make moves off of that to become a dribbler again.
Right.
Like they start make a couple shots and you get to go to the net again.
That's the beauty of it. So it's like you add to your game. I initially already had the driving stuff. I already had the ball handling stuff. I already could penetrate. I had the shot. Now I could.
Now you can.
Now
do
they
more.
gotta respect me exactly because now I could do more.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget how to do that stuff because that's what I grew up doing. Like, I feel like every kid. I always make this joke because like I'm a big fan of like women's basketball. And women, they got straps. And I feel like the reason why women could shoot so well is because us boys, like us men, like when we're like young teenagers, like when we hit that age when you could first dunk,
all you want to do
all
is
that matters, yo. Like,
dude, how do you become good? Like, I want to be. I can dunk a tennis ball. I can get up there. I have hops, but I can't dunk a basketball. Right? What's like the one drill?
That's the one thing out of any sport. If I could do anything out of any sport, I wish I could dunk.
I feel like it's repetition, bro. I feel like it's practice.
It's got to jump.
Obviously, like probably plyometrics and some type of weight building and stuff like that, squats and all that kind of stuff. But
it's doable.
Like I feel like when I first dunked, it's like squeeze, and then it's like you keep practicing, and then after practice, but that was like a detriment to anybody's game.
I remember Cam was doing windmills in like grade 7, grade 8.
Cam had bunnies.
I was like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get to that age and that's all you want to do instead of working on a left-hand layup. And then you get
the more important stuff.
And you get to 18, 19, and it's like you struggling to do certain things. And it's like, because when you was 13, all you was trying to do was dunk. Like you go to practice, you don't form shoot, you don't work on layups. You just like, I could dunk. I dunked yesterday. Let me try again. And you do that. And that's why I feel like women like could shoot the lights out, like because they always are so fundamental, because obviously they're not trying to like focus on dunking at that age. Like they're always working on their skill work.
My team in college always said, like, if we play against women's team, we win. And I was like we're more athletic, I guess, but like, bro, we can't shoot. Like you guys aren't gonna make any shots, so we're not gonna win. No. Like,
how do you think you get more eyes on the WNBA? Like, in your opinion, I know this is a hard question, but
I think it's starting to happen. I think the market's starting to grow. I think, especially women's basketball in the States, like college is like crazy. It's insane. The culture is amazing. Like Dawn Staley, who's like the coach of South Carolina Gamecocks at our school, she's like a legend.
They had a franchise. They had a dynasty there, right? Them and
UConn. Yeah, UConn, like it's crazy. So they just won the national championship, South Carolina. Nice. And it's dope. I think we had a Canadian there too. Yeah. I don't personally know her, but I know there's a Canadian woman on that team. So it's just like to see the evolution is dope. I'm friends with like a lot of WNBA players. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think they just, once you just watch a game and just get rid of that ignorance, you see how like it's dope. It's a good time, bro. Like, especially going to a game, it's fun to watch. It's good basketball. Like, it's amazing basketball actually. Like how skilled they are. They're smart. And there still are some athletic plays. Like you have, Brittany Griner and other people who are dunking now, So like, they're still like cool. Like Diana Taurasi, like Cappy Pondexter, all those kind of players. Like those guys who are magicians with the basketball and elite scorers. It's like I love watching them play. Like they could hold their own next to anybody. So I don't know what the answer is. Like honestly, I just feel like some people are ignorant. Like just, I feel like a lot of people are ignorant towards the women's sports. But once you watch it, it's like you give it a chance, you'll see, and you have like a new respect, a new admiration for what they do and what they go through. And if you figure out their stories behind the scenes, it's like, like how little they make, like how poor they travel, like
well, you could see during the March Madness during COVID
with the gym shit.
Like, like that was crazy.
It's crazy to see like the difference in men's and women's that I don't understand it. And I don't know. I have 2 baby sisters, so it's like I'm gonna always make sure that they're empowered and they understand that they could do whatever they want to do, especially whatever sport they want to play. But I just feel like they're showing women's sports more now on TV, so that might help. And if there's more investors that like try to invest into the actual WNBA into each team and more sponsorships, I think like once they figure out a way to kind of compensate the players properly, because a lot of women have to like play WNBA and then have go overseas job right away, or have another job. Like mad women have like part-time job. Like WNBA is their part-time job. Like
that's what I do too.
Like teachers, like whole time. Like, like that's crazy to me. Like whereas the NBA is the opposite.
Athlete. Well, the NBA contracts are crazy,
insane.
Oh my god.
You should just give like 1% of those to the other leagues.
Right. Yeah. That's what I always like.
You have Curry signing a $200 million deal. Like that's
like,
nuts.
Intense. Like. Happy for them, but it's like what?
Not too much.
And what's crazy to me? I always thought about this. It's like, if Giannis, James, Steph, you just gotta sign 200 trade. It's like, how much are the owners making, bro?
Oh my god,
dude.
Like if you're the one writing that check, how much are you making?
Billions.
Right.
Billions.
So it's like I don't understand why the G League is like same thing. Like their travel is kind of poor. It's getting better. Like the money's still like I get it. It's opportunity. But like
how can you have a guy making $200 million and then you're in the like league below and it's just like not even comparison?
I don't get it.
But
I don't get it. Same with women's sports.
Sucks how money's always the answer too. It's like, there's no other way. Like really.
What's crazy for me in basketball though is like a few years ago, the year we won the championship, every major award was won by like a different nationality. It was like Rudy Gobert won the Defensive Player of the Year. Siakam won Most Improved. Luka was like Rookie of the Year, and then Giannis was MVP. You don't get that in any other sport. Like it's crazy.
I mean, basketball's travel, man. It's just very like diverse now. You go to all these countries. I've been playing Team Canada at a young age, like, and it's taken me. I've been like Italy, Germany. Like I played in mad places that I've never. Argentina, I played in places that I never thought I would go to.
Australia, you said too.
I've been to mad places. Like I've been to Costa Rica. Like I'm like, you guys some played hoopers out here. Like like. And like Venice, I went to Venezuela a couple of years ago, And it was like something just happened because we had to get a motorcade. They had like the AKs. They were like we couldn't open the bus curtains because they didn't want people to know we were traveling in there. We get to the hotel, like I'm like, but yeah, they had hoopers over there, and their fans are like, they love it. I went to Brazil, same thing. Like fans just selling out arenas. Like people just want opportunities, you know. Yeah. So I love how basketball's expanded, and I'm sure like other sports are gonna follow suit. Like, I mean, I hope so because people outside of Canada or North America in general can play. Like, they can play, and I hope like the international game of like Luka and those guys are like showcasing that.
Luka's crazy, so good.
It's insane.
He's so good.
Who's your favorite player right now?
Right now?
Mine's Ja.
Ja's amazing. And he's from South Carolina too.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to
Murray State also beat Marquette.
Right.
Murray State, yeah, they did.
I don't know, man. Like I love so many players. Like I'm an admirer. Like literally from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. last night or yesterday, I was just ball
watching
like, playoffs, like back to back to back.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I do is just watch ball. Like
we were gonna ask you. I forgot to text you. We wanted you to give a breakdown of like a bracket style of the playoffs. Like who do you think's gonna win and who's your finals?
I got Golden State coming out the West. I do only because like they have so much veterans that have been in these situations before. Klay Thompson is back. He looks like he's healthy and he's shooting the ball extremely well.
That'd be crazy from last year to this year.
Wiggins has like no pressure on him, so he could he could hoop and just be free and be a great two-way player. Yeah. And they have like a great culture where it's like there's no drop off. Like you know, Steph Curry comes out and Jordan Poole comes in and it's like another Steph Curry. Like you know what I'm saying? So like I think they're gonna be successful if they're healthy and they're gonna come out the West. But the West is extremely exciting. Like I don't know. I think Memphis is definitely gonna be Minnesota. I love Ja. Utah for some reason I don't know why they never make it to the next level. I don't know if they have enough.
Yeah.
Who else is in the West?
Denver's there.
Yeah, Denver's not.
No,
not without Jamal Murray. If they had Jamal Murray, I'll give them a better chance. But even then, like it's hard for me to bet against Steph. It's hard for me to bet against the Warriors. Like look what they've been doing. Like
Phoenix, they just have a winning culture.
Phoenix, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't sold on Torrey Craig's one of my friends, big bros. So like I want him to be successful and win. Chris Paul, point guard, respect his game highly. He's been in the league for so long, and what he's doing at this age right now,
it's crazy.
It's crazy, and it's funny because in basketball years, like whenever I'm talking around like my family, they're like, "What do you mean he's old? Like he's 36, 37." Like in basketball, you're winding down, fam. So for him and LeBron to be playing at this age, like and still go at this level is amazing. But I'm not so like Chris Paul never shows up like when it really matters, like game sevens or like conference finals or NBA finals. You kind of always like him and James Harden just always kind of like they'll have like amazing regular seasons and they're either like not healthy and not available or they're not playing as well. So like Phoenix, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the people who thought them going to the finals last year was a fluke. And even though they had like an amazing season this year, regular season, and they're playing well again, like I don't think they're gonna make out the West. I just personally don't think they have enough.
They need the ball too, right? Like,
So,
if everyone needs the ball, then you guys aren't.
Right. And then the East, like from a fan perspective, I want the Nets to win because I'm a huge. Like, I think if Kyrie was 3 or 4 more inches taller, he'd be the greatest basketball player ever to play the game because he's so skilled. Like the stuff he does doesn't even make sense. Like
I had this conversation with my brother and my cousin yesterday. We said Kyrie's the most skilled player in the NBA by far.
By far,
I think of all time. Shit, bro. Like I don't get how he like stays on his feet or like. He just keeps shaking.
His body control is
like
amazing. Everything.
Look, he never gets blocked, and he's like 6'3", whatever. He gets his shot off whenever he wants. His handle's crazy. He has post work. Like there's nothing he can't do. Like offensively, it's actually
the heads like mid dribble are crazy.
He can pass. He can do whatever he wants.
His finish is sick.
He can finish left or right, floater left or right. Like it's crazy how like I think he's one of the best. So like selfishly, I want him to win because just the narrative to see if he could do it. Without Bron. But I don't know. Like Milwaukee. Like as much as I'm not a fan of Milwaukee. Like it's hard, man. They got that length. They all know their roles, and Giannis is like impossible to guard. And then I'm trying to think who like the Bulls did their thing, but it's gonna be tough without Lonzo. I
wish I want DeMar to go far.
I do too, especially because what happened with him here. I don't like how that happened. But like we talked about politics, it's crazy in sports. But that
was sad to see, man.
It's sad to see, like, and that's why. Growing up, I always heard that saying of use basketball, never let basketball use you, because it's like, people will use you.
It's a business.
I ain't gonna lie,
it's a business at the end of the day.
I've gone through a lot of that since being hurt. Like a lot of people that like I would go to, for opportunities for certain stuff or like advice, like I'm not gonna say they turn their back on me, but it's not the same enthusiasm. It's not the same availability as when I'm playing. I'm like on top or I'm on fire or doing things at a high level. Like, so it's like you really can kind of feel that like, yo, you have to take advantage of the time when you're really in it, because if not, like it really passes you up.
I like
some
that
relationships
saying.
going too.
It's funny, like it's similar in hockey too. Like I've watched some of my close friends like get treated like pieces of meat.
Yeah.
Where it's like agencies will drop them and never talk to them ever again.
It's crazy.
They've been their agent for like 4 or 5 years from like
But at the beginning, there was like,
we can do this for you. We can do that.
I'll be calling them down and doing everything for them. But
16
as soon as they
to like 21, 22.
as soon as you lose a little value or they see that there's somebody else better,
you're gone.
It's gone.
I understand it's a business,
I get it,
but still have some morals.
You gotta treat people better, yo. I don't understand it, and it's crazy because I've never been in front office or in that position. So again, like I can't speak from like I don't know how it is, but I just feel like I would just deal with it better. Like if I was to ever coach, like I would, there's certain things I would do different from what I've seen or like.
Would you want to get into coaching? Like
I don't know.
Or I know you said you went to school for journalism. Would you want to do broadcasting?
I really want to do broadcasting. That's what I'm trying to do now. That's why like I really respect what you guys are doing here. Like I want to I peep the space. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna make mental notes and like trying to apply it to what I'm doing. But I love broadcasting because like, I could talk about the game forever at like a high level. I love that.
Being like an analyst or something.
I grew up on. I actually had an opportunity my first year with 905. I was a part of this internship program where I got to do one of the Raptors games. So I have a relationship with all those guys, like the Paul Joneses, the Leo Routins, the Eric Smiths, the Matt Devlins, all those Kayla, like all those people are like people that like I could text and ask advice, and Sherman Hamilton and stuff like that had paved the way before us, and they're setting a great precedence. And I just want to be like next in that space. I want to have the opportunity because I love basketball. I love talking about it. And I went to school for it. I don't think a lot of people know that, but it's definitely something that I like, I've been trying to work on now so that it could be an easier transition when I finally do retire in, 8 to 10 years, whenever I'm done playing basketball. But yeah, definitely broadcasting. I don't know about coaching because like you have to manage so many personalities. And like I've seen coaches be stressed, man. Like, and to be a great coach, like at a high level, like Frank Martin, like I'll say him, like all the work he's put in, like I've seen him like, come in no sleep, like, you know what I'm saying? Him and his family are going through it. He hasn't seen his family in a minute because he's just grinding. He got to look at the next scouting report. He got to make sure we're prepared to go to war. Like it's tough. Like I've seen him cry. Like when we lose, like I've seen like all that. I don't know if I could be that invested. Then you have to manage so many personalities. You can't coach everybody the same way. You can't I can't like mother F you and mother F him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone takes things different. Everyone's motivated differently. Then you gotta deal with then you gotta deal with the outside world. That's crazy. You gotta deal with like the people's family, why is this guy not playing, like you gotta deal with, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I could deal with all that. Like,
I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't be able to do it, man.
I would like get into skill development. Like I've done a lot of stuff at the Hoop Factory camp. That's in Pickering for kids, and I love working out with kids, and especially because the game is growing at such a high level. Like I tell a kid to do like a layup with the same foot, same hand, and they're doing it like at like the age of like 10, and I'm like, yo, I didn't even know what that was until I was like 20 years old. Like Euro steps, like these guys are doing it like on their own, jelly, all this stuff. So like it's cool to like challenge kids and help them get better and see the imprint that you make on them. So like I would love to like always be in the gym and like give back to the generation. But coaching, I don't know. Broadcasting for sure.
Just so you were talking about like what was this you're saying? You're like, you don't let basketball use you. Use basketball. And I've noticed that you're using your platform created by basketball to do certain things, like the reading initiative, racism is not in our game, those kinds of things. Can you just touch upon that and just like why that's so important to you? Well,
I think it's like I realize the platform that we have, and I don't know if we deserve it, to be honest. Like I always figured like, why just because someone's an actor or an actress or you know what I'm saying, like they are viewed like at a such higher pedestal like than everybody else. Almost, I get they're getting paid a lot of money, but like what's the difference between this person and that, you know what I'm saying? So but because I've been in a privileged position where I've been able to like sign autographs and I've seen the effect that I have on kids and the communities, I'm always like, why don't I just do like what's best? And I benefited from people who've given back before, like Jamal McGlure, like someone who's a staple. He's one of the coaches for the Toronto Raptors, and like he's like big in the community and stuff like that. or like seeing when OGs give back, like it motivates me. So I'm like, what can I do? And the ones that don't give back, I'm like, man, this is what I'm not trying to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've always wanted to like share my platform for the better. Like whenever the whole like Black Lives Matter stuff was going on, all that stuff was going on in the summer, I'm like, man, why don't I just do a jersey raffle for my jersey? Because they're gonna sell it anyways, and some people actually like me, so they're gonna want to buy my jersey. So why not let me try and make there be an actual end goal to this, and like spread awareness when it comes to racism. And then for the book thing, like I told y'all, like I love to read. Like I have mad books. Like I love reading. Like reading and movies are like my thing. Like so I'm like, man, growing up, I had access to public libraries. And I also had the scholastic system. Like I know y'all had that.
I remember that.
At St. Mike's, we had the ARP.
You
know what I'm saying?
I didn't even realize that though, brother. I might have got 10 points out of the Hondo.
I ain't gonna lie.
You'd have the name up on the board. Everyone would put up the points.
Guy, so I was like, boom, Twilight. Let me watch this real quick. Get the thick book, and then that's like 150 points. Save us to the last minute. But I used to love. Like I love reading. Like I love reading. So I was like, why don't I create something where I could like deliver books to kids and families that might not be in the same position to have the scholastics program, the ARP program, or not might be able to go to these libraries, especially during COVID. Like, so that was something that I just wanted to do. Like I like to take whatever my hobbies and things I like to do are and just spread it and just put it on like the best platform I can for everybody else to kind of share in the wealth, basically.
Well, I saw, I think it was your Twitter bio is like more than a professional basketball player. And that's something that stood out to me. I was like, I can respect that, because a lot of people, like growing up, I'd look at some of my friends who are in the NHL now. I'm like, one of the things I'm most like, I don't want to say jealous, but I wish I was in a position where I had your platform more so than anything else. Yeah,
because you could affect so many people. Like when you see the reach that, like I said, like when after that tournament, South Carolina, when I'm hugging like old ladies, and when I had like my teachers were like, yo, don't worry about no final exams, don't worry about school, bro. You guys are in the tournament, like focus on that. When I seen the impact and the reach, like I'm meeting the mayor, like the opportunities I'm getting, I'm so blessed and fortunate, and I thank God for it. So I'm like, why not I just share that, like, and shed light. And then because I feel like I walk this path where I know a lot of NBA players, and I'm friends with a lot of people in the WNBA and the NBA, coaches and players, and I'm not in it. So it's like I hear what other people say. So it's like, that's why I've always wanted to be more than an athlete, because like I know me, like I got tattoos, like I'm sleeved up, right? But and the way I dress, I know that like when I walk into certain places, people wouldn't expect me to be like articulate or be able to like have an opinion on certain things. So I love like when I go places, they're like, oh, he's just a basketball player. And then when I start talking or when I start doing something, they're like, oh, he could do like, wow, like you know, he's different. I love that, like getting that dumbfounded look from people. So like I always want to never put myself in a box. I always want to be able to kind of be versatile, not just on the court but off it.
It's
so
evolving in
I like
life
too,
in general.
Like, whenever I meet someone new, they're always like, oh, like this is Tanner, the lacrosse player. I'm like, that's like the first line after.
Right.
I'm like, that's cool.
What do you mean?
That's awesome.
What do you mean?
But it's awesome. But then like I also want to be like, that's just Tanner, the lacrosse player, and also like this podcast, like he does more than lacrosse.
He does more to me. And I was always like known at a young age that basketball wasn't gonna last forever. Like like I'm not gonna be able to play forever. As much as I take care of my body, as much as what the hell LeBron James is doing, like that's not gonna happen for everybody. That's not gonna happen for everybody. So I'm just like, boom, like I start playing at like maybe 36, 37. Like I don't know what the life expectancy for us in Canada is as males, but like I'm sure, hopefully, God willing, I live another like 60, 70 years. Yeah, what am I gonna do? I can't hang my hat on that I used to be a good basketball player. I gotta be able to have like other boxes that I can check off and be able to affect life in different ways, because in 20 years, who's gonna care about, you know what I'm saying, what I did in basketball space? But if I could leave a legacy outside of that, then cool. Like
take it day by day and like find your path. Just, like,
right.
Figure it out. Stay
that's
motivated.
something. Because when I had to retire, like you're 16 at the time, like hockey was my like past, present, and future.
That's crazy.
Like I thought I was gonna go play Division I hockey in the States, and then some sort of professional, and then that's taken away like that.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what do I do now? And it's been a while for you to kind of like, for me to figure out my path and what I want to do. But it's nice now having this or as a different outlet or something to like put your energy into. So I respect that a lot, because again, like so many athletes just have blinders on.
Yeah. Because they be in the moment. You know, like everybody tells you you're the best, you know what I'm saying, in the moment, and you're just going to focus on that. You're not going to see the other avenues and what else you can focus on in life. And like I said, one thing I've learned is like basketball has put me in rooms with some people that like I never would have gone into this room without the sport. So I'm gonna use it to the best of my abilities. I'm gonna make sure I could talk to this person about whatever. Like I'm gonna make sure I introduce myself to that person. I'm make sure
people,
like
right? They put the pants on the same way you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, so it's like I'm always do that.
Yeah. Who's the closest person you met from basketball?
From basketball? I mean, I met a lot of people. Like, like I don't know.
Has there ever been someone where you're like,
fuck, really? This
like
guy?
starstruck or like not starstruck?
I met Michael. I met MJ.
Okay,
at the Jordan Brand Classic. That was dope.
That's someone I would be starstruck at.
That was real dope.
That would
He was
be
funny.
crazy.
A kid asked him who was better, him or Kobe, and you got the kid kicked out. the questionnaire, I was crying. I'm like, man, he competitive. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of people. Like, I take a lot of relationships for granted too. Like I went to South Carolina, and Alex English, who's like a top 50 NBA player of all time, was like, he's like a broadcaster for our team kind of thing, and like he's always around. I never picked his brain. Like I literally like tweeted him. I inboxed him the other day, and he gave me his number, and now like I'm picking his brain. But I'm just like, yo, what?
At the time,
I just forgot. Like, bro, you're a top 50 NBA player, bro. Like
you're just comfortable around.
No one scored more points than you in the 80s, like in that decade.
Yeah.
Like, you played against Jordan. I never asked him nothing while I was there. Like, so like I've encountered mad people that like, you know, like.
Okay.
You know.
We're coming down to the end here, but we've just implemented this as our last question.
All right.
But what's something you're looking forward to? Like, what's a good time ahead for you?
Good time ahead. I mean, outside of my family's like health and success, for me, like I'm excited to get back to playing. 'Cause I feel like that's where I feel most at home, and then continue to try and, you know, develop this outside of basketball work, like this broadcasting stuff, whether it's just continue to get some internships or like continuing like my show, the Take Notice podcast or something, anything I can do in that space so I can show people I'm serious and that I want to do it. And I don't know, I feel like I have like a new sense of purpose. Like ever since like I just feel like re-energized, like healthy, and I'm just like getting back to myself.
Nice.
I don't know what to expect, but I know like I'm ready for whatever type of thing.
Yeah, just excited for the future.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, yeah.
I feel like that's where we're at too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing. I just feel like
Yeah,
re-energized.
I have mad hockey questions, bro. Like,
yeah, you want?
Go for it. What do you got on?
All right, bet. Who's the best player? I know Ovechkin is like one of the greatest, and obviously Gretzky and Crosby, but like who's the best?
In all time?
Yeah, all time.
Connor McDavid.
I'm gonna say Gretzky.
You gonna say Gretzky?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Gretzky.
You know who Connor McDavid is?
Nah.
He's playing right now.
He's playing right now. He's probably the best player. He is the best player in the league right now. Yeah.
Over Austin?
He's like he's like the skill wise, like Kyrie.
Wow. I'm
Kobe.
gonna tap in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tap in.
Yeah.
Watch his highlight. Like I grew up playing against him. This guy it wasn't even fair.
Yeah.
Like our game plan would be like someone shadow him.
Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't get the puck in like certain areas of the ice, because if he does,
if you get it with
you're
speed,
not catching him.
Yeah.
Like his highlights are crazy.
And then I realized I just started like watching some highlights. I started going to like some because one of my homegirls plays hockey. I started going to some hockey games, but like I never been to an NHL game. That's one thing that I want to do. I'm trying to go to a Leafs game soon.
We'll go with you, bro.
I need to. Like
Yeah,
I heard the
we'll
atmosphere
get
is
Grilly, too.
crazy. Yeah, Grilly. Shout out Grilly. But how do you guys like? You got in the NHL? I know they do like what 45-second shifts or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty
it's like
quick.
very quick, right?
Yeah.
Like how do you get into a rhythm if you're playing that short amount of time?
Hard. It's very hard.
It is hard. Like if you're like a fourth or third line guy, like every shift you just have to go out and like bust your ass and try and make something of it. Some guys are playing like 20 plus minutes a game where they'll get into the flow of things. Yeah. But you could sit for like 10 minutes and then the coach is like calls your name. You're like, hey, you got to get out there and you got to like make something happen for this minute. Yeah. And so those guys are high energy players, like physical. Yeah.
They'll it's kind of like basketball too. I feel like there's like if you're like off the bench or whatever and you hop in a game, like you're ready to go. Has the ball and they're going to the net. Are you ready to go? But you don't have the ball for like sometimes for like 4 or 5 possessions.
But I feel like in basketball, if you like, you know, I check in, I know I'm gonna play like I know my minutes. Like I know I'm play 8 minutes of this, and then if I'm cooking, I know he's not gonna take me out. Like so I can catch a rhythm. You know, like where if you like 45 seconds, I'd be like,
it's
what?
Tough,
I just got in here. Like
it's tough.
I just
I'll give it to basketball players though. You guys run a fuck ton. Like I run a lot.
But I heard like the skating, I can skate, but I can't like skate like
so
crazy.
Someone asked
hockey, I had to skate. Like Xander was my gym coach,
Yeah.
my gym class teacher, and he was my basketball coach. And he was like, if you don't do this hockey portion, you're failing gym. And I thought he was joking, but he was serious. So I had to get my size 13 and a half skates. I had to like skate like. And I was decent. I had to actually play hockey. Yeah. I can't skate backwards or like power slide or whatever, but like I'm all right.
Yeah. Nice. Someone asked this question. They asked about you did a photo shoot with hockey stuff.
I just talked about this. Well, it might be it's one of those things of like back in the day when we used to wear like 4XTs and you're just like, what the heck? It's one of those. Like at the time, it seemed like a genius idea. I forgot who put it together.
Yeah.
But they're just like, you go to St. Mike's hockey school. Look at the tradition here. Like, and you're a basketball player. And I'm just like, yeah, step on the court with my LeBrons and like with a hockey stick. And it's not even a puck, it's a basketball. I'm just like, you look back on it, it's corny, but at the time I was like, it's fuego. I was like, this is fire.
Yeah. You threw that up on Facebook or something.
Yeah, throwback. I'm trying to think. The Michigan. Is that showing up? Is that like throwing the ball off the backboard?
Yeah.
In a game.
I
like watched a video of everyone saying like I would never do it and it's like distasteful and like I wouldn't try it and it's that hard. Yeah. I've seen like mad NHL players talk about it and then some players say like, yeah, I would try it. Like
I don't think I play that no one like thought about for so long, but it's actually like pretty smart because it's always not there. Like if you can do it, it literally makes sense.
It's a new era. Like just the talent of the young guys in the NHL is crazy. It's like similar to the NBA. It's like a whole new wave coming in.
Talk about how hockey's changing. Has it changed? Like is it more like flashy and not as like physical?
It's more skill and less like fighting, trying to scare guys or trying to intimidate.
But doesn't that attract more fans, or does it fight, or does it?
I think for me personally, like I think the way the game's going is in the right direction. Where it's like if you're the best player, you should be playing in the NHL, not if you're the toughest guy.
Taking a good guy's spot,
like a Ty Doby.
Obviously, like
you can do both.
If you can do both, great. But
it's rare.
I met PK. I'm cool with PK.
Cool. He's good, man.
Guys I met. Yeah,
he's an athlete, bro.
What's the best path to the like? I'm confused about that. I know like there's like the farmer teams. I know you can go NCAA D1, but like, what's the best successful path to like the NHL, or is it just different?
It depends how good you are too.
Yeah,
like
so,
you go. You know more about hockey than I do. I'm a
so
guy,
if you're like a top tier guy, if you're getting like a drafted first overall, second overall, you'll go play in the OHL.
Okay.
If you're a guy like our buddy, he took longer to develop. He went and played college.
Okay.
And that benefited him because he was able to like grow into his body, learn the game more, and then he went and played 2 years of like the farm system.
Tough.
So like the G League. Yeah. And now he's played the last 2 years for the Montreal Canadiens. But it depends on the guy. Me personally, I would have rather gone NCAA route.
Yeah. School's fun as hell. So.
Yeah. Like the crowds there are crazy, the atmosphere. If you're an athlete, like walking around campus, you're like,
exactly.
Did you see my game last night? Yeah. So I would have rather gone D1 for sure.
It's probably similar to basketball. Like you could go to Europe or you
go to
G League.
Go to college. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Kind of like you gotta like see what you're good at too. Like if the G League's more skilled and Europe's more shooting, then you go to like the skilled one. You know, like you kind of fit what you're good at, and then you kind of make your way from there. But
I think we're good. Yeah, we gotta call it.
All right,
thank you again for coming on, man. I appreciate it. This was cool. Thank you.
We'll have to go shoot around one day.
I know.
I want to get some buckets up with you. Let's do it. We got a Leaf game too. We'll do the whole thing.
I need to experience that, man.
We'll do the whole thing.
I need to experience that.
For sure, bro. All right.
Thank you.